gonna be a good day.
Decided they're going to learn all the things and do all the things. Where's my 10 days? It can get overwhelming. And if you try to do all the things all at once, how many things are you going to succeed at? Not many. And if you do succeed at them, you're going to completely burn yourself out, right? So we need to start small. Joining a community, again, we're going to get to a community building here in just a second, and then educating yourself, which you guys have chosen to come here today and do. So bravo. Preserving with a purpose. We're talking about preserving our food and preserving our way of life. When you are learning a new skill on how to preserve your food, you need to learn how to do more than one thing. So maybe it's this year you learn how to can. Maybe next year you're learning how to ferment. Maybe you're gonna save up and buy a freeze dryer. All of those things. We want to learn all of the things so we have a lot of knowledgeable tools in our tool shed. And preserving our way of life. Honoring your cultural heritage and your food. Our food is our story. I have a friend who is a biologist, and he shared an interesting kind of perspective on something that I'm going to share with you here today. And it's his story, not mine, don't get mad. So he did a study on different species of animals, including humans. And what he found was, in general, women live longer than men. The female species lives longer than the male species. We all know why, but we're not going to talk about it. You guys are doing some crazy stuff. OSHA is there for a reason. But what he found is, in the human species, it's even a longer lifespan than in other species. And he started to ask the question, why? Why is it this way? Who in here is a grandmother or grandfather? I can tell you why. It's our responsibility to pass down every single thing we know to those kids, to your children and your grandchildren. But grandparents hold a very special demographic because they have the knowledge that the parents don't quite have yet. And that is going to help preserve your way of life and your family's way of life. So grandparents, I am tasking you today to pick up those grandkids and get them in the kitchen and get them in the gardens. I have a grandbaby, she's 1. She lives very far from me. We all have to do better. That's all there is to it. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. We just need to do better. Because we need to make sure that these future generations are going to have the knowledge and the skills to keep going. Preserving our way of life. So powerful preservation. It's powerful. When you take that food and you do something with it to transform it and get it on your shelves and get your family that food security, it's powerful and it's empowering. Canning, fermenting, dehydrating, freeze drying, smoking, salting, there are so many things that we can do. Somebody the other day sent me a video, a woman was waxing eggs. I was like, oh, is that a thing? You know, right? Like, and then I go into a deep hole. I'm like, I need to learn all the things about waxing an egg. And I think we all do that. But there's so many different ways of preserving. Specifically to canning, because I'm teaching in the canning tent today, all day long. Come stop by, come learn a few things. But specifically to canning, we actually get in some of our foods an increased nutritional value when our foods are canned. Not decreased, but increased. Canned tomatoes and canned corn are a prime example of that. The University of Illinois, they did a study where they found that you get 3.5 times more antioxidants from canned tomatoes than a fresh tomato. That's wild, right? So applying heat to corn and tomatoes actually increases their nutritional value. The University of Maine did a study that said there's 17 essential nutrients in canned foods that people get more of than eating them fresh or frozen. So there are certain applications where canned food is really a great nutritional way to eat. 90%, this is the USDA, take it with a grain of salt. Canned fruits and vegetables retain up to 90% of their nutritional value. So for people that live in food deserts and people that don't have access, maybe you live in a city and you don't have access to a community garden or a plot of land where you can grow your own things, canned food is a great alternative for getting your nutritional value every day. And here's another one, bioavailability. So the way our body processes the fiber, when you eat produce, it is more available to your body when it's been canned. So it becomes more useful to your body, and that was at the University of California. So there are also nutritional benefits to different types of preservation. So the last part of this here is the engagement. The engagement. So this is the community building. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, there are 3 things here when we're building a community. One is mind, body, and whether you like it or not, spirit. Whether you're a religious person, non-religious, it doesn't matter. There is a spiritual connection in community. The mind is having the knowledge, and to do this, to help strengthen our minds in our communities, we need to share our skills. Who in here does any type of bartering? Is that still alive and well? Yes, yes, and I think in the homestead community more than anywhere else in the world, really. I barter for honey. I barter for potatoes. I barter for garlic. Actually, now that I think about it, I probably barter more than I actually do. But anyways, bartering in your community helps strengthen the mind of the community. Remember when I talked earlier about starting small, not doing all the things? Where are the people that don't like or don't know how to bake bread? I'm going to raise my hand because I do not enjoy baking bread. It is not my thing. All right, now raise your hand if you are the baker. You love it, you know how to do it. Okay, everybody that doesn't like baking bread, look around. Who just had their hand up? Where are my bread bakers? All right, non-bread bakers, look around. Take note. I want you to go to that person right after this and say, hey, do you live around here? Because we don't need to do it all. We don't need to do it all. What we need to do is build a community that can help us do it all. I don't want to make bread. I'm not good at it, okay? But I can can something. Oh, you just took a deer and you don't have a pressure canner? Bring that meat over here. I got a canner or a freeze dryer. I'll run 3 trays for you, 1 for me. Right? We barter, we trade skills, we trade commodities, and this is the way to bring this back down to our community levels. Who, every time you leave the grocery store, are a little more sticker shocked every time? My goodness, what is happening, right? We need to start spending our time and our money intentionally, and that happens between us. Community body, health of one is health of all. We're only as strong as our weakest link. And the community spirit, we need to collectively get back into a co-creative space with not only nature but with each other. Co-creative space, nature and each other. All right, so I think my time went near up. So last slide. Commit to one thing today. And I'm going to share a story, and I see this beautiful couple sitting in front of me, and I'm not going to point them out. But I'm going to share their story, with their permission, of course. Last night we were talking, and it just reminded me so much of me and my husband. And he's kind of the more go-getter. He wants to learn all the things and do all the things, and you know, he's got a list of things that he wants to learn and learn how to do. And she's more of the, we are doing the things. Right? We did this, we did this. Well, last year they left here. They wanted a goal of raising their own meat birds. And this year when I spoke to them, he said, I want to learn more things. And she said, you know what? We're raising the meat birds this year. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We need to support each other. There's always one person that is the kite and one person that's the kite string. If you're not married to each other, find yourself a friend. And start doing one thing today. That's it, one thing. Grow one garden bed. Grow one tomato plant on a balcony. Engage one person and say, hey, I see you're a bread baker. Can I have your number? That's all you need to do. Do one thing and preserve one thing and engage one person. And I think if we do that, collectively, we can start growing. We can start growing and we can start taking back control of our food security and our food sovereignty. I want to thank you guys. Don't clap yet. Don't do it. I want to thank you guys for having me back here. I come back here every year, and I always say coming back here feels like coming home. This is a very different environment than a lot of homesteading events that I do. And the difference here is the community. Everybody that keeps coming back year after year, because there's more to learn and more to share with each other. So I want to thank you for having me back again this year. I want to urge you to come to the canning tent. We're going to be canning all day. I want to urge you to take notes, make connections, and please, if any of this resonates with you, stop by our destination preservation booth. We're creating an entire documentary around these foundational principles, and we need help. We need you guys. We need like minds to help us get this off the ground. Also, the book is available. I said that yesterday. It's still available again today. Thank you so much for having me, and enjoy your food summit.